Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
She wanted to show off, so I hope they enjoy the wreck she really is.
So this happened last weekend, and I need outside perspective because everyone around me is telling me different things. I've been with Eva for almost 3 years, living together for the past year. She's always been really social and flirty, which I initially found attractive. But over time, it started feeling disrespectful, especially when she'd do it right in front of me. The pattern usually goes like this. We're out somewhere. She starts getting touchy and giggly with other guys. I feel uncomfortable, and when I bring it up later, she tells me I'm being insecure and controlling. She'll say things like, "That's just how I am," or "You knew I was social when we met." I started doubting myself, thinking maybe I was being too jealous. But last Saturday was different. We went to my coworker's housewarming party. I was actually excited because I don't get to hang out with work people much, and Eva had been complaining that we never do anything fun anymore. Everything was going fine until we got to the kitchen, where this bartender from her favorite spot, Nate, was helping serve drinks. The moment she saw him, it was like I disappeared. She immediately went into full flirt mode, touching his arm while laughing, leaning in close when talking, making exaggerated expressions. At one point, she literally turned her back to me to face him completely while they talked about some inside joke from the bar. I'm standing there holding both our drinks like an idiot. When Nate walked away, I quietly asked Eva if we could talk outside. I wasn't even mad, just uncomfortable. I said something like, "Hey, I feel a little weird about how touchy you're being with Nate. Could you maybe tone it down a bit?" Her face immediately changed. She got this cold look I'd seen before and said, "Are you seriously going to start this crap here?" Her voice was starting to rise and people were starting to look. So I suggested we go somewhere private to talk. That's when she said the words that changed everything. "You know what, Adam? If you don't like how I act, there's the door. No one's forcing you to stay." She said it loud enough that my coworkers definitely heard. I felt my stomach drop through the floor. Not because of the words, but because of how easily she said them. Like throwing away our entire relationship was nothing. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds and she just stared at me with this challenging look, like she was daring me to actually leave. So I did. I walked out without saying another word, left the party, went home, and started packing. I couldn't stop shaking for hours. The weird thing is, I wasn't even angry. I was relieved. Like someone had finally given me permission to stop pretending this was normal. Ava came home around 2 a.m., probably expecting me to be asleep so we could talk about it tomorrow like always. Instead, she found me loading boxes into my truck. She immediately switched to damage control mode, saying she was drunk and didn't mean it, that I was overreacting to a stupid fight. But something had clicked for me. I told her she was right. If I didn't like how she treated me, I should leave. And I was leaving. She started crying and begging, but I was already done. I spent that night at my buddy Dylan's place and haven't been back since. The thing is, everyone's acting like I'm being dramatic. Eva has been texting me constantly, and even my mom said maybe I should work it out because relationships take compromise. But I keep thinking about how quickly she was willing to throw us away over me asking for basic respect. Am I crazy here? Is walking away after one fight too extreme? Because honestly, for the first time in months, I actually feel like I can breathe. Update 1, 2 weeks later. So quick recap. Eva told me if I didn't like her flirting with other guys, I could leave. I left. She's been losing her mind ever since. The first few days were just constant calls and texts. When I didn't respond, she showed up at Dylan's place where I was staying. Dylan answered the door and said in his slow Texas drawl, "Listen, sweetheart, Adam's not available." And honestly, after what he told me about that party, I wouldn't be either if I were him. Eva started crying on his doorstep, saying she just wanted to apologize and that I was ruining our relationship over nothing. Dylan just deadpan responded, "Ma'am, you literally told him to leave if he didn't like your behavior. He simply took your advice. That's not on him." Dylan told me later, Dude, what the hell did you put up with? She seemed genuinely shocked that actions have consequences, like legitimately confused that you actually left. That hit me hard. She was shocked because she'd trained me so well that she never thought I'd actually do it. I started thinking about our relationship differently. How many times had she made me feel like I was overreacting, being too sensitive, asking for too much? I remembered last Christmas when she spent the entire family dinner flirting with my cousin's boyfriend. When I brought it up later, she said I was being possessive and that she was just being friendly. I ended up apologizing to her. Or 6 months ago, when I found out she'd been texting her ex regularly and never mentioned it. When I asked about it, she turned it around on me for snooping through her phone. I wasn't. She left it open on the counter. I ended up feeling bad for bringing it up. Reading your comments made me realize this was a pattern. She'd push boundaries. I'd express discomfort. She'd make me feel wrong for having feelings about it. I'd back down. Rinse and repeat until I stopped bringing things up altogether. But this time was different because she miscalculated. She thought she could use her nuclear option, telling me to leave, and I'd fall in line like always. Instead, I called her bluff. The real wake-up call came when I went back to the apartment last Tuesday to get more of my stuff. The conversation that followed showed me exactly who I'd been living with. She started sweet. Baby, I'm so sorry. I was drunk and stupid. You know I love you more than anything. When that didn't work, she tried guilt. You're throwing away almost 3 years over one mistake. That's not the Adam I fell in love with. When I stayed calm and kept packing, she switched tactics. You're being incredibly selfish right now. Do you know how hard this has been for me? I've been crying for days. Finally, when nothing else worked, the mask came off. Fine. You want to act like a child? See how you feel when you're living in some crappy studio apartment because you couldn't handle having a girlfriend who's social. That last part stuck with me. Couldn't handle having a girlfriend who's social? As if respecting your partner is some impossible standard. My mom called yesterday. Apparently, Eva reached out to her, and this is where I learned something about my mother I never knew. Mom's always been diplomatic, always looking for the middle ground. But this phone call was different. Adam, honey, she said in that careful voice she uses when she's trying not to lose her temper. That girl called me yesterday, crying about how you just disappeared and broke her heart. I started to explain, but Mom cut me off. Let me finish. She wanted me to convince you to call her, but Adam, in 30 years of marriage to your father, he has never once told me to leave if I don't like something, not once. That's not how people who love you talk to you. Turns out my mom has been watching Ava's behavior more closely than I realized. Adam, I never said anything because I didn't want to interfere, but that girl has a mean streak. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. I'm grateful. She showed me exactly how much respect she had for me and our relationship. When someone tells you to leave if you don't like how they treat you, believe them. They're telling you exactly how much they value you. Final update, 3 weeks later. You guys are not going to believe this update. Eva has completely lost it, and the universe has served up some poetic justice that I couldn't have scripted better myself. After I went radio silent, Eva apparently decided to take this public. She posted this long Facebook rant about how I abandoned her over a tiny disagreement and how she's heartbroken that someone she loved could be so cruel and vindictive. The post was full of manipulation tactics. She painted herself as the sufferer who made one small mistake and was being punished way out of proportion. But here's where it gets good. Remember my coworker's party where this all started? Well, several people from that party are mutual friends with us on social media. They saw her post and were not having it. My coworker Jake was the first to comment. Ava, I was standing right there when you told Adam to leave if he didn't like how you were acting. You said it loud enough for half the party to hear. I'm not sure why you're surprised by the outcome. But Jake wasn't done. He followed up with, also, for someone who's heartbroken, you sure didn't seem bothered when you were flirting with Nate for 20 minutes right after Adam left. Just saying. Then Emily jumped in. Girl, everyone at that party heard what you said to him. You literally told him to go if he didn't like it. What did you expect? Also, the way you were hanging all over that bartender while your boyfriend was standing right there was uncomfortable to watch. We were all talking about it. But the absolute nuclear moment came when Nate, yes, the bartender she was flirting with, commented on her post. Turns out he's not just some random bartender. He's actually studying psychology and has zero patience for manipulative behavior. His comment was surgical. Hey, Eva, I don't usually get involved in personal drama, but I feel like I need to say something here. I've been bartending for 6 years, and I've seen this pattern before. The way you act when your boyfriend isn't around at the bar versus how you act when he is, that's not healthy relationship behavior. Maybe instead of asking people to convince him to come back, you should ask yourself why he felt like he needed to leave in the first place. He continued. Also, for what it's worth, every time you've complained to me about him being controlling or insecure, the examples you gave sounded like a guy asking for basic respect. That's not control, that's having standards. Dylan screenshot everything and sent it to me. Bro, the internet just served Eva a reality check with a side of humble pie. This is beautiful. Apparently, Eva deleted the entire post within an hour, but not before dozens of people saw it and shared screenshots. The damage was done. Multiple people reached out to me privately afterward. Turns out Eva's behavior at the party wasn't a one-off. They'd noticed how she treated me over the years and were glad I finally stood up for myself. Remember how I canceled all the utilities that were in my name? Well, Eva's been living without internet for 5 days because she didn't realize I was the one paying for it. Her Netflix got cut off mid-episode. The electricity got turned off for 2 days before she figured out how to get it transferred to her name. She sent this long email about how cutting off utilities was petty and financially abusive, and how I was punishing her for expressing her feelings. The lack of self-awareness is truly stunning. Here's my favorite part of her email. I just wanted to have fun at a party, and now you're trying to ruin my life over it. This is not the man I fell in love with. The Adam I knew would never be so vindictive over one mistake. Have fun at a party. That's how she describes publicly disrespecting me and then telling me to leave if I didn't like it. The last interaction happened 5 days ago when she showed up at my new apartment building with our mutual friend Sarah as some kind of mediator. Eva had convinced Sarah that this was all a big misunderstanding. But when Eva started telling her version of events, Sarah's project manager instincts kicked in. Wait, Sarah interrupted. You said Adam got jealous because you were being friendly to someone at a party, but you told me he was controlling and didn't want you to have male friends at all. Which is it? That's when Eva made her fatal mistake. She got defensive and snapped. He embarrassed me in front of everyone by making a scene about nothing. Sarah's eyebrows shot up. Making a scene? I was there, Eva. He asked to talk to you privately. You're the one who started yelling at him in front of everyone. I watched Eva realize she just contradicted her own story to someone who witnessed the actual events. Sarah turned to me. Jesus, Adam, she really did a number on you, didn't she? Even in her final apology, Eva was making me the villain. I know I made mistakes, Adam, but you have to admit you overreacted. Walking away without even trying to fix things was really hurtful. A real partner would have fought for the relationship. Sarah's jaw actually dropped. Are you seriously blaming him for leaving after you told him to leave? Ava, what the hell is wrong with you? My health has completely turned around. I'm sleeping through the night again. My stomach problems disappeared. I've lost weight because I'm not stress eating constantly. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is walk through the door someone else opened for you.